All right, and we're live and ready to go on our third episode of Happy Feet's Quadcast. As usual, I have Justin here, aka JJK.
What's up?
And today we're going to be going over the pros and cons for all dancing games. That includes Dance Dance Revolution, In the Groove, and Pump It Up. As usual, we always interact with people in the chat. If you guys want to contribute anything towards the discussion we're having, or even bring up another topic of something related to dancing games or rhythm games at all, you are more than welcome to. And if you are subscribed to the channel, you can also hop in to a private Discord channel that will allow you to actually talk with us and be part of the podcast. And we allow this for every Saturday. We have a subscriber Saturday. For this Saturday, it's obviously the Quadcast, and it alternates back and forth between Quadcast and most likely just me stepping charts. But either way, you are able to join us in a private Discord server if you are subscribed to the channel. So if you would like to do that, just leave a comment in the chat so I can see who you are, and we'll get you set up. But for now, it's just going to be me and Justin discussing all the pros and cons that we personally feel exist. And again, feel free to contribute to the conversation and throw anything in that you'd like. So, we'll start things off with In the Groove, because that's personally my favorite game out of all three of them.
Yeah, you seem to know that game pretty well.
Yeah, we're most experienced with In the Groove. I mean, Justin's more experienced with both In the Groove and DDR, I would say. Which one are you more experienced in, though?
Definitely DDR.
DDR?
Although I've been playing a lot more ITG these days than DDR.
Yeah, when I first met Justin, or at least knew about him, he was huge on DDR. I would always see him at Super Arcade. I mean, I think I met you before Super Arcade, but that's when I started to see you more often. And I always noticed you were playing 2014, 2013.
That was DDR 2013 at Super Arcade. That was the only location in SoCal that had that game, and so I was all about going to Super Arcade to play there.
Yeah. So for In the Groove, we're going to go over the pros and cons. Again, this is all like opinions, obviously, so take it with a grain of salt. It's not, we're going to try to not personally attack these games and offend anybody, but nowadays that's kind of hard to avoid.
Seems so. And we want to hear your opinions too, so by all means, let us know in the chat what you think about these games as we're discussing them.
We got Iron Nougats here, and Cliffy, and Shadow Wolf, all our regulars, and we got Gabe modding the chat today. What's going on, guys? Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So,
hey,
I would say, who's in our Discord?
it's me, Jason.
We have someone already?
Oh, Lord Omega's in here.
What's up, Seth?
What's up, man? Yeah, this is awesome. This is our first time. It threw me off. I was like, what the hell?
My bad, dude.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
I was like, hey, let me in.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Thanks for joining us. This is perfect. Okay, so yeah, we're discussing the pros and cons to In the Groove right now, and then we'll move over to Pump It Up, and then Dance Dance Revolution as the final topic.
All right, sounds good.
Perfect. Okay, so for In the Groove, I think the pros of it are definitely the fact that it's practically endless. Like, the game is going to last forever, so to speak, as long as people contribute to the game. It has endless amount of content. It's not being run by a company. It's all fan and community based operated. So that's a huge plus, I think. However, there's obviously the bad side of that, which we'll cover shortly after all the pros. But there is a good side of that, which is, I think it's just the fact that you can have such flexibility and endless content.
Yeah, I agree. I like that you can basically play any song wherever. People make charts all the time, so the game's always growing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like there's always room for improvement.
Yeah, it's endless kind of thing where it's as long as you contribute.
What I like the most about it is that there's always room for like myself to push myself farther, which I don't know. I like the feeling of achievement. So
yeah, it's cool just because, like I said, you can put anything you want in the game. Like, you can make stuff really easy, you can make stuff really hard. It's all up to you, and we can. What I've been trying to do lately is try to help people out with learning how to step charts themselves, so that they too can contribute to the game, because I mean, nowadays more people are stepping stuff, which is great, but we want to just keep that number going up and not let it be such a low number like it was a few years back. There was very few popular artists who were stepping stuff. Nowadays it's increasing though, which is great.
Like Ian, Arrow, who else? Like
Well, I
Flash
mean,
was
yeah,
back in the day.
Flash used to step. He's more retired. Like there was another person who was one of Flash's friends that retired. Totally forgot his name. Mwok?
Oh,
I haven't heard of that person.
Mwok, I think.
That might be a little bit before my time.
It was back in the day, but he was another person who contributed quite a bit, but then he retired. He actually admittedly opened it up on Facebook saying he's done stepping. But there's also like Mute. There's me. Who else is out there? We got Mad Matt still doing stuff. Aoreo.
I guess Mad Matt's kind of stepped away from the scene now too, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean he's done Epsilon, but that was like over a year ago, I think. But I think he has like Zeta.
Yeah, the new pack I saw. It's being tested right now, right?
Yeah, it's in beta right now, but it's been released to a handful of people.
Okay. Well, it's good because like now I'd like to see the like different kind of content, like not just like dumb streams but no, we have like crossover spectrum stuff like that. It keeps the game interesting.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely keeps the game interesting, and I think another good pro to it is you can. I mean, it's pretty much nowadays. It's Step Mania, technically. Like people can download the game for free and get all the content that's available for free. So all you need is a home pad. You don't need an arcade machine. You don't need a Dedicab. You don't need a DDR converted to ITG cabinet. While that is nice to have, you also have the flexibility of just playing off a home pad. What are some other pros in the groove? We got step charts, endless content really.
Since as long as there's a Simfile community, there's always going to be a scene for ITG. And Simfiles have been made since I was a teenager, since the days of Dance with Intensity.
When did they publicly release the patch to allow you to create custom stuff for In the Groove?
For In the Groove, that was shortly after Konami won that settlement with ITG. That was in 2006, I believe. That's when R21 came about, and that's when you could
11 years ago, man.
Yeah, it's been some time.
Jeez.
I'm a little newer to the scene, so I wasn't back then when that happened, but yeah.
So when did you get involved?
I mean, I did play dance games for like a long time. I started with DDR, obviously, before ITG. I knew what ITG was. For those of you who are familiar with the Vegas scene, I started playing at the Orleans, and I did play Gemini a little bit. But in any case, when I saw like Avery, Flash, and them playing at the Orleans playing ITG, I said, hey, I wanted to join this. But I never really got started until actually 6 years ago.
Wow, 5 or 6 years ago. And you're at level 17 right now after 5 years?
16s, I'm trying to pass the first 17.
You're really close to getting that 17. It's from that day prologue, man. I know you can get it. You're right there.
I gotta try it, man.
You'll get it. I'm reading some of these comments here. We got Iron Nougat saying, another pro is it made mod charts. Windu hates you. Oh, yeah, like all the foreground step charts. Yeah, that's definitely true. Rhythm Horizon wouldn't be a thing if it wasn't for ITG. That's very true as well. Cliffy, opinions on poopin' music? Poopin' music?
Poppin'. It's poppin'. Poopin' music.
Popping music, Neon FM. I mean, I'm not all that familiar with those games. What about you, Jason?
I heard of them. I know a couple people that do play them, but I don't play them myself.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar.
I tried Neon FM. Terrible at it.
Really?
Yeah, I am so bad at Neon FM. I don't know, the interface is weird to me.
Yeah, Neon FM, there used to be a game for the iPhone. I think it was Tap Tap Revolution. It was basically the same thing.
I remember that game.
Yeah. I'm not all that familiar though, Cliffy, honestly. I know friends, like Jason said, I have friends that play those games, and they know a lot more about them. I mean, I personally, if you want me to throw my input on there, I think they're great games. They look really fun. I just don't have the time to put towards learning a whole other rhythm game, honestly. Like, I want to learn Sound Voltex, 2DX, Poppin', like those all look really cool. They're just not as interesting as the dancing games for me personally. Is that how you feel about it too?
Yeah, I've always been attracted to the fitness aspect of dancing games, and although I enjoy playing rhythm games in general, if I'm not working up a sweat when I play them, there's probably always going to be a ceiling to how seriously and how into them I can really get.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically how I feel.
For me, I do like hands rhythm games too, as Nugets or Los will tell you. I'm pretty proficient at playing Mai, but it's the scenes are definitely a lot smaller, so it's hard to find like rivals and people to force yourself to improve, which is the big problem I have with it.
My looks really interesting, actually. Have you heard of that game,
It's
Justin?
fun.
I've heard of it, but I haven't played it.
It's
That-
really fun.
Although, is that
I
that
got
washing
started
machine game?
when I was
Okay,
in
I
the
have
late.
played that one when it was being tested at Irvine Boomers. No, not Irvine Dave & Buster's, sorry. I played one
Oh,
round
nice.
of it.
Oh, how'd
And
you
it
like
was
it?
actually pretty cool, but it was set to 2 songs per credit and some ridiculous credit price.
Oh yeah. It's a lot of Mai's are like that. It's I remember when I was playing over in Malaysia, it was like $1.50 a credit for 2 songs, I think.
This is an expensive hobby, these rhythm games in the
Yeah,
arcades.
that's the
Well,
problem.
like now over in Vegas, we do have a machine, and it's on a time play, so you just pay to get in, and then you play until or your time's up.
Oh, what arcade is that?
It's Game Nest in Las Vegas.
Oh, I've never been there. I should check that place out.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They had the whole arcades are like everything in there is on time play. So
We got our racer in here.
Yeah, that's my friend Kenny. He was on my stream last night.
Oh, that's Kenny. Hello, Kenny. He says Irvine Boomers, lol.
Yeah, I got them confused.
SMX Gamer says hello. What's up, man? Thanks for joining us. We got Cliffy. Is My the clothes washer game?
yeah, it's the clothes washer. Or the,
Where do they have those at round 1 yet? I haven't paid attention.
no, they were
Oh.
testing one at PHM, I think.
Yeah, Point of Hills.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's still there actually.
I don't think it is. I haven't heard any rumbling about that game from that arcade in a while.
It's like I said, it's actually kind of weird because unless they have a updated version, which I assume they do, I think I heard it was pink. But like I know when Game Nest started, they had a lot of trouble because they had the original Mai, which is all in Chinese.
Oh,
It's really hard. Like if you don't have someone explain the controls to you or how to actually play, it's really hard.
interesting.
Yeah, but the newer versions are have English instructions, so it's a little better.
Gotcha.
That's always helpful.
So what were some other pros for In the Groove, actually?
For me, a big pro within the groove is that because I'm always trying to think about how I can become a better player, and if I'm having a particular issue with the game, like let's say that I can't stream fast enough, my foot speed is lacking, or my form is lacking in some fashion, ITG makes it very, very easy for me to kind of pinpoint what I'm having problems with and try to work on that. So for instance, if I'm having trouble with 200 stream, there's a whole litany of charts that I can kind of target and work on.
Yeah, there's like easier charts, but with the patterns or whatever you're trying to work, the techniques you're trying to work on, which is
Exactly.
nice.
That's how I felt like was a problem with DDR, for example, is I feel like there's not really a great way to warm up to like 220 stuff. I mean, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure the DDR fans will definitely say I'm wrong or they disagree with me, which is fine. That's what the whole point of this podcast is about, is just discussing these kind of things. And if there's disagreements or agreements, you bring them up. But I always felt like it was awkward to warm up to Egoism Challenge, like the hard stuff, I would say. Like,
And I mean, you have unpassable charts like max 300.
yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Still
Like,
no one's passed that song, huh?
no.
Nope, it's impossible.
It's not possible. That's how I felt though about that game. Is this? It's so awkward to go from something that's just broken up 200, and then all of a sudden you got 220 streams with 30 seconds in it. It just feels like you can't warm up to it. It's however, I do say that if you play Pump It Up, it's a great thing to warm up with before jumping on Ace. That's true.
I think that's been an issue with DDR. I know we're kind of switching topics over to the cons of DDR by talking about this, but I think DDR for the longest time, there's always been a huge difficulty wall right at the highest level. And that goes back to even the DDR Extreme days. I remember that wall from the 9s to the 10s on DDR Extreme was really hard for a lot of players to cross because you had your difficult 9s and then you have to bridge that gap and go on to max 300. And
For way back in the day.
yeah, back in the day. And it's funny, like the 10s now, like those max 300s and the Paranoid Survivors and all that, those are 15s
like
on the
15,
new
yeah.
on the new DDR scale. and all the 9s from Extreme are 13s. Like DDR Extreme, that folder has no 14, no level 14.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, so that just kind of goes to show you just how much of a gap there was that was really tough for some players to cross back then. And I think it's kind of come about again with modern DDRA. Like these new 220 charts, like Egoism and this Endymion chart that came out recently.
Seth played that yesterday. He said it was a pretty good chart.
The Endymion?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually a good chart. I don't have a problem with it at all. Usually
it looked fun. I don't know, those bracket streams at the end looked kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But it's that's one thing I do like. It's like DDR did introduce a lot of like unique stepping patterns that we don't really see in ITG.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I guess you see like bracket streams and stuff in Pump, but like it's different, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely different. I mean, is there any other pros that you guys would say that we haven't covered on In the Groove before we hit cons on it?
I like the fact that it's so accessible to a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really like lately, I like that it's so easy for me to just have it in my garage and to be able to record myself and kind of look back on my stream later on and try and pinpoint areas for me to improve on. Like if I see that my technique is lacking on certain songs, it's easy for me to detect that because I'm always recording myself, and it's easy for me to have a full day session when it's so readily accessible to me in my garage.
Yeah, SSMX Gamer says it's so nice having ITG in his bedroom, literally.
Yeah, he understands. That's my friend Atticus. Do you know him?
Oh, hey Atticus, what's up?
Yeah, everyone knows Atticus.
It's true. Like everyone has access. Everyone can have access to it.
I mean,
tight
it is
budget
easier
or not.
trying to get like a DDR Ace tab or something like that you can't buy.
Yeah.
The other side of the spectrum is there's like 50 DDR Ace machines in America, and plenty of players are left out in the cold because they don't live near one.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I think we've covered most of the pros. I'm checking the comments here for ITG stuff. Cliffy says he plays no bar 10s and 11s as a warm-up. I assume you're talking about DDR, Cliffy? Correct me if I'm wrong. Pump is super easy because of the timing, and most charts are super straightforward.
I can argue against that really, really well. Like, they're not easy.
There are some that are very hard.
Like, I mean, like Creed, pretty much any of the difficulties, especially the 21 or the full S23, has hard patterns, very hard.
I think at like lower level, it's a good introduction,
like,
but still.
15, yeah, it's pretty straightforward. But after that, they start introducing like techniques and stuff.
Lots of crossovers and weird rhythms.
Hey, like some people have told me before, if it feels weird when you're playing Pump, you're probably doing it right.
Yep, it's very true. Zach, where's Zach? Where's Zach at? DDR's awesome says, dude, it's Zach. And then Cliffy says timing windows are literally 4 times larger and Pump It Up. It's not focused on timing. That I can tell you that.
If you want to play timing, play hard judgment or ranked mode.
Yeah, there's rank mode and
ranked mode brings it, if I'm not mistaken, pretty close to DDR timing.
It does. It's very close. And I feel like it's equivalent because of how off sync some of the charts are. It has a very similar feel to DDR at that point.
Our chat is really nice and active today.
I know, I'm trying to keep up with it,
Yeah.
but we got Nougat saying bracket streams are my favorite part. Yeah, I agree. I love bracket streams on Pump. So
I wish I was better at them.
yeah, well, I mean, through practice you can definitely nail them, but at first you're just like, what is this? This is ridiculous.
I think the hardest part for me is just reading it.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
so,
the ones in Chase Me, like the ones that switch over get me really messed up.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that's pretty much all the pros to In the Groove. Would you guys say? At least what we can think of, like the biggest ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that pretty much just touches all the big ones.
Okay, so let's just jump over onto the con side of In the Groove. What do you guys think is the bad thing about it?
High level play requires level pads.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
High level of like high difficulty requires very well modded.
I mean, there's the joke about us Vegas players here. If you can pass a 13 at the Sam's Town machine, you're a god.
Really? Why is that?
The pads are so recessed that
they're like DDR pads?
Impossible. Yeah, like really bad.
Wow.
Gosh.
That is definitely a downer. You have to have access to the pads and be able to modify them in order to do stuff very well, the very high level stuff like 19, 20, 21, etc.
And I don't know about you guys,
even
but
like past I'd say like past 13 you really need to, like, because that's where the officials like ended.
It ended, yeah.
And
So-
just modding pads in general is such a a time sink for me. I don't know about you guys, but when I think about modding pads,
I don't know how to do it, so I can't tell you.
okay. But for me, I've been putting a lot of time into just modding my pads and tuning them to the way that I like, so that I can play the higher level stuff. And that involves a lot of tape, a lot of foam modding, a lot of raising, making sure that my pads are level. And I don't know, it's a big investment of time. It's definitely worth it in the long run, but I would definitely call that a downside and kind of a downer of the game in general, just having to be so meticulous.
The thing with that is, everybody has different preferences on their pads
That
too.
too.
That too.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
If you have friends come over, if you have a tournament nowadays, dude, it is so hard to please everybody. Sock
impossible.
players, shoe
I actually
players.
don't think it's possible to
It's
please
not.
everyone.
It's really,
like
really not.
There's stock players and shoe players. They play two different styles, so.
Yeah, we got Apple Arcade in here saying hi. Hello.
What's up,
Yeah.
Apple
What's
Arcade?
up, Apple Arcade? That's a new name. I haven't seen that one before.
I don't know who that is. What's your name?
And then we got SSMX saying whenever he hears brackets now, he thinks of Scars of yesterday's Dragon Force chart.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Not Scars of today.
that was like that was the first bracket chart I ever saw. I watched Paul play it, and I was like, "What is this sorcery? How does this done?"
I watched JJ play it. And I was like, oh god.
It's crazy. And then we got Cliffy asking if we have any tips on Pump It Up brackets on old style panels. They feel impossible in my opinion. Okay, well,
You should ask Roberto about that.
yeah. Roberto has those, but you have to remove the brackets and like countersink the pads. I think that's what I've been hearing about them. I don't have all that much knowledge. Iron Nougats though in the chat is more experienced with Pump than I am. I've never actually had a real session on an old Pump It Up pad. I've only had experience with TX and beyond.
Played some at AX with on Roberto's machine, and I'm gonna be honest, it was weird.
It is weird. It's different for sure. That's what I've been hearing. Racer, because it is community sims, difficulties could definitely became inconsistent for sure. Yeah, there's always been debate about ratings on stuff, honestly. They've gotten better over time.
I think presently it's pretty good. I think there's a pretty general consensus of what a 14 and a 15 and a 16 and so on is.
Back then it was whack.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like,
but I
it was
think
whack.
The community's kind of come together and just come to understand things a little bit better since then.
Is to say, Cliffy says ounces of powder going off and on when you share a pad. Very true. That's another thing. Baby powder, no baby powder, or Windex.
Yeah,
no Windex.
I'm all about baby powder now.
well, Iron Nugas will tell you he gives me shit for using powder on pump. So.
Oh yeah. And then SSMX.
I mean, I don't know. I play differently than most people do. So.
That's the thing. It's all different play styles. He's saying I watched Sappy play it and I was like, okay, this is garbage. You talking about Scars of yesterday, SMX gamer? That's savage. Gamer Max says all about that Bay powder, boys. I am too, man. For In the Groove at least. For Pump It Up, I can't do it because I play in socks though. If you're playing in shoes, I understand.
Man, you should try Seth's machine and like anything. It's so slippery.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I almost fell off the pad. Like I was on there for not even half a second.
Iron
Because of all the
Nougats.
powder?
Yeah. Well, we don't put powder on the pump machine, but I mean, I play in socks, and then later on in the day, I'll go on pump, so it just kind of gets on it a little bit. So I always have to clean it.
That residual baby powder.
Yes, yeah. Nougat says after 20 though, it stops making sense. So is that on the Pump It Up scale or on In the Groove scale?
So many
I think
ratings.
I don't know. The Pump It Up. There's a lot of above 20 that I do like. Like I said, Chase Me is good. Just Hold On is good. The Gargoyle is kind of ITG style, so of course I like it.
Yeah, Apple Card's asking if we have any tips for getting into hard DDR charts.
Practice.
Lots of practice,
just
but
play a lot.
yeah, when we cover the DDR too, we'll get into more detail about like the charts and stuff like that, and we'll give you tips for sure. So stick around for that. We're still covering the cons to In the Groove. I'm just trying to catch up on these comments here.
Yeah.
We've got. It's weird. Only been playing dancing games for 9 months. I missed all this over the years.
Man, Atticus has gotten so much better in the past 9 months.
I know Atticus is improving at a crazy
Just
rate.
imagine what he's going to be like in a year. Silly.
Hey, Xperior, what's up? Welcome. That's the guy who always goes on my YouTube videos and puts first in the comment every
really?
time. Every time. He's always there.
He does it with pride.
He's the first guy. Okay.
That'll be his nickname now, First.
Yeah, First. What's up, First? So the con that Jason brought up was the fact that you need to have access to the pads for high difficulty, even just starting at 14, because that's where the barrier for official difficulty stopped was 13.
I mean, like if you count it as a barrier, because there's only one official 13.
Yeah.
The Summer Speedy mix.
No. There's
There were
three. There's three.
Vertex Squared and Pandemonium also.
Yeah, Vertex Squared, Pandemonium, and Summer.
Know your roots.
Oh, okay.
Old school. This is old
Eh.
school stuff. I think another con.
Vertex scored as a 14. Excuse me.
A tech 14. So that was Jason's con. I would say for me, a con would be. I'm trying to think. I mean, I love In the Groove, and I know there's cons. I'm just trying to think of one that really stands out to me the most. I mean, I think me and Justin are on the same page for this one. Is that there's no official anything with the game, so that in the sense of no company is operating it, so there's no official tournaments, there's no official support. I mean, the support and tournaments they're being run off the community.
There's no standardization, and I know that turns a lot of people off from the game.
Yeah.
Because it's ITG these days is really what you make of it. It's the charts that you choose to put in. It's the timing windows that you set. It's whether you play with Fantastic Plus on or off. And it can be very hard to compare scores when there's so many different setups. Even the computers that people are putting into these cabinets, and they all require different global offsets.
I also know there's a Stomper Z machine that people don't like for tournaments or something like that. I'm not sure why.
I've heard of Stomper Z, but I know very little about that topic.
I've only heard the name, so I have no idea.
So Stompers is what Rhythm Horizon was.
Oh.
Oh.
And then they changed it over time. From what I understand, not Rhythm Horizon, Stompers was ITG, I would say, dumbed down, kind of. I mean, some people might take offense to that, but I mean, let's be real here. Like,
how is it dumbed down?
It's dumbed down because there's no mines, there's no rolls. You have 2 life bars.
Oh, you have 2 life bars. Okay.
So it's a simplified version of In the Groove. It's I understand why it exists. I just personally don't prefer it for my play. But for those of you who want to pass harder stuff and work up your stamina, that's what it's there for. But that's just my take on it. It takes out the fundamentals of In the Groove. It takes out mines. It takes out rolls. Like, those are 2 big things that make In the Groove, in my opinion. But some people may disagree with that and say, no, In the Groove's In the Groove because of custom step charts and all the freedom to do whatever you want, and that's fine. But that's what it is.
There's another pro that we never talked about. There's CMod in ITG.
Yeah, that's actually another one.
CMods.
Yeah, CMod's great. I guess that's the other thing, is having the flexibility of all of these mods and preferences you want to do. It's so flexible.
Pump now has auto velocity, which is pretty much the same thing. I like it better actually because it keeps the gimmicks.
It's an M mod basically.
It's M mod. Yeah,
I like M mods quite a bit. Because I think some charts you really should not be C modding them because it's a part of the challenge of the chart to be able to know what to do with those tempo changes, and M mods make it really just perfect for me.
X-Pariah is saying he's planning to go to Circus at Reno. Are the DDR and ITG pads good there?
No idea about Reno. Sorry, bro.
I think I went there once and they were atrocious, but this was 5 or 6 years ago.
Well, I've heard from about a year ago that my friend went to Reno to play Pump, and it's bad. We had to ask Lara though.
Iron Nougat says also Mini, and Cliffy says no C mod in early DDR is what made me hate it. Oh, the fact that you couldn't use any mods at all. Like, you can't even speed up.
Because they still don't have C mods in that game.
DDR 5th mix.
Like, I think is 5th mix when they allowed mods.
Max.
No, 5th mix had no.
So up until 5th mix was the final one where they had no mods at all.
5th mix was the last one to have forced 1x.
Man, that's crazy.
Yep.
I mean, for some people, even now today, they still say, well, that's just the way it is, and it's just old school, and it is for real. The true OG is what people say.
2001 was tough times.
Yeah, I remember. So what's another con that you would say, Justin? What's one of the big ones that stands out for you for In the Groove?
For In the Groove?
I think I nailed it for him with the one that I gave. We kind of had the mutual agreement on the fact that, what was it? That we I brain farted just now. What was the con? It was Jason. What was it? Help me here.
We were talking about the lack of standardization.
That's what it was. The lack of it being owned by an actual company. Having
one of my struggles with the game right now is that I'm having a hard time finding the global offset for my machine. I know every machine has a different global offset depending on the machine specs.
Yeah, and then there's also whether you're running on a Windows or a Linux or whatever.
Yeah, I actually just made the switch over to Linux 2 days ago.
From what I heard, it took a whole team of Linux experts to finally get Seth's machine to work correctly.
The same people that have worked on Seth's machine have been working on mine. So
All right.
shout outs to Gabe and shout outs to Garrett.
Yeah, there's a lot of other people too that helped me out personally. Big shout out to you guys. You know who you are.
Oh yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to cover was what was it? I keep brain farting today, man. Oh, that's right. The fact that In the Groove doesn't have like a global system of like scores. Like we do have Groove stats, but people can literally just go in there and type in a score. Like with DDR and Pump It Up, you get a score, it tracks it and puts this is the world's best or this is machine's best.
Well, although the Prime 2 one still doesn't work, right?
Still doesn't work, rip, but you get the idea. Like that's definitely what In the Groove would need, because that would help a lot with legitimacy. If there was a way to avoid cheating scores and them being submitted through there, that would be awesome, because I mean, we as a community for the most part can confirm when something is considered a world record, but still it's not as official as it needs to be, because for me to get a score and say this is world record, for the community they'll know for the most part, but for outsiders they're just like, well, how do you know it's a world record? And for DDR players or Pump It Up players, they can just point to the screen and say right there, it tells me that's a world record. You know, that's what In the Groove, that's a big one for me too. Like that, it's very frustrating. I'm reading some comments here. Groove stats is bleh. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's cool to keep track for yourself, but for world best, not so much.
For a long time, it's all we had, but it's definitely looking antiquated these days.
Yeah.
In the face of better tracking systems on other games.
Cliffy says maintaining ITG machines sounds harder than DDR PIU. It's more tedious. It's more specific and it's more consistent, I would say, because of the way that charts are designed. And you're hitting the buttons a lot more. I mean, like there's step charts in the Groove that have 4,000 steps in one song. DDR.
There's like, I guess Ian's OP, it's like 12,000 steps. There's
yeah.
For the 140 BPM Stamina Killer, it's a 4-hour chart, has what?
133,000.
133,000 steps, so.
Yeah, and you got DDR where it's a miracle if it hits over 1,000. I think there's like 1 or 2 charts, if that.
Something like that, yeah. And those are what, like 19s, right?
Yeah.
I don't think any of the current 19s touched 1,000 steps.
Wow. So I think Egoism's like 900.
Around there.
Around 900.
But definitely under 1,000.
That's the thing though. It's like it's not as hard to maintain the pads. For Pump It Up, I think it would be the middle. I think DDR is the least troubling, and then Pump It Up's like the middle, and then ITG is definitely the worst. Iron Nougat says DDR is the hardest. Really? I disagree, actually. I think DDR is the easiest. I mean, I feel like it's so easy because the charts are not all that demanding.
Are we talking about the difficulty of the game or the difficulty of maintaining the machines?
Yeah, confirm with that, Nougats. Raven says people used to USB verify scores on group stats. Yeah, that is true. That was a good way. You can still do that, but I think most people don't do it, which is kind of a shame. And not everybody uses it. That's the biggest problem. I can't tell you how many times, Danny, I've submitted a score that I thought was a world record, but then I had a friend or someone in the community say, no, that's not it. I actually have it, and they send me a score, but they never put it on group stats. No one is obligated to use it, and that's the problem. Legend of Wrench Full Marathon. Oh, yeah, that has a lot of steps. That's like a handful of 20s and 19s. Ooh.
Oh, that's the ECS marathon.
Yeah,
ECS
correct.
Stamina marathon, yeah.
Raven,
I mean, you have the new one in Psychedelia, the Crank Pastry Marathon, which you should totally give a try, Seth.
Oh, God. God.
Oh, you just triggered him hardcore.
Yeah, you did. The highest is Elemental Creation at 860-ish steps. The new Endymion CSP may be higher. I mean, no one's played it yet, so we'll have to see. Egoism 440. Challenge 19 is about 814. So it looks like EC...
That's Elemental Creation.
Elemental Creation Challenge 18 is 860. Endymion Challenge could potentially have 800 plus easily. And Nougat says he thinks around 180,000 steps for the Legend of Wrench. That's nuts. Wow. And Jeff's played Endymion Challenge. He gave it a shot. I didn't see it. I haven't been up to date. I know he passed Ace for Aces. So any other cons you guys think to In the Groove? I'm trying to think of it from a DDR player's perspective, because those are typically the most of the time the players who have the biggest beef within the Groove.
I mean, technically the timing windows are easier than
okay.
ITG,
So
as they think. I don't know. I don't know the actual...
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, In the Groove is easier than DDR for sure. Oh, what's up,
boy.
Puka? Happy Feet Wombo Combo. Welcome to the Penguin Squad, man. Thanks for the follow, Puka. I do hear that too. It's great.
Yeah,
I love it. I love the alert for it.
I was thinking, who's in here?
At first, I thought it was Discord, another person. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
shit, cool. Yeah, I mean, I think we've covered most of the things for In the Groove. I mean, those are just the big. I think it has the least amount of cons for at least for us.
Yeah.
But they have big ones. No
Yeah.
legitimate. It's not ran by anybody. It's not fully legitimate, and there's too many options. There's Simply Love on. There's different themes. There's different programs. OpenITG, StatMania 5.
There's the bear apocalypse scoring system. If any of you've watched the tournament.
Yep. There's that. I mean, the community is alive and well, so it's not going anywhere anytime soon. I don't think. That's definitely a pro side of it.
It's very splintered. Though.
As long as people want to play it and support it and contribute, it's not going anywhere.
That's for sure.
That's the good thing. So I think now would be a good time to hop over to
Pump it up.
Pump It Up. This one, me and Justin are a little less experienced on. Jason, I think you're more experienced than we are on the knowledge of the game.
So it's good to have you here with us.
Yeah, I mean, have you been playing Pump It Up longer, or?
Not longer than ITG, but longer than you guys have. I
Yeah,
guess.
and we got
I've
new
been
gets.
playing for a couple of years.
Okay, I've been playing for a little over a year, I would say now. Justin, how long have you been at it?
Only for about as long as you've had your machine.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I'm a
Okay, so
noob
you
of
haven't
this
been
game.
playing very long at all.
Oh wow.
No, not at all.
Like a month-ish.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Yeah. So let's go into the pros of Pump It Up. First thing, it's owned by a company and it's still alive. that's a big
That's
thing.
pretty big.
That's a really big thing. And
I'd
every
say.
couple of years they come out with a new game. This one is huge for me right here. Okay, this is a huge one. The fact that Andamiro allows people to buy any up-to-date version of the game, that is huge for me because currently Dance Dance Revolution does not offer that. That's a huge problem.
You can't. Let's see. I mean, I guess you can probably buy a used older cab, but not like one of the new ones.
For DDR?
For DDR, yeah.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
correct. Yes.
And ITG, well, no more production, so it takes a miracle to find a machine that you can buy.
Right. So, yeah, the biggest thing is that Andamiro just, if you want to purchase a brand new machine, an older machine that was recently made, like a TX or CX, you can purchase them. If you want to go and find a private owner who's got a GX or FX or whatever
What
X
does Roberto have? Is it? It still has the pump,
GX.
the IPF for what is it? 2007. It's like
does he?
Come join us for 2007 World Pump Fest. I was like,
Wow.
wow, okay. Oh
Yeah.
damn, that's
Like,
an old machine.
It's so cool that you can just buy any model that you want, newest or oldest. That's huge. And
Yeah.
even if you have an old machine, you can buy the new software for the game and put it on your old machine. That's
Or as
that's
Los
huge.
says over here in Vegas, you can switch out hard drives and play several different versions.
Yeah. What's up, JMB Live? How's it going? Welcome. Puka says hello. We got a question directed to me from Experior. Happy Feet, I'm wondering what's with your feet positioning. An example is when you point your feet to the left side and your left feet pointing to your right. I've seen DDR players like Dr. D play like that. Hold on, let me see. Point your right
So he's
foot.
talking about like when you have your right foot pointed to the left, like kind of slanted. I've been wondering about this.
I don't
too.
play like that, do I? Like
Kind
this?
of like the pigeon. No, like the pigeon toed style. Where you're
Yeah, inward.
yeah, playing
Pigeon
inward.
toe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For like
Right
like
to
when
left,
you hit the up
left to
arrow.
right.
I got in that habit because it's less movement. Because think about it, your big toes are closer to the up arrow versus your feet going outward. You're further away. That's just my personal reasoning for doing it. I know people who are at high level of ITG or any dance game and they do the other way than I do. It's all personal preference. But
Some will actually go out.
yeah, some go out. Like Aoreo goes out.
I'm pretty sure Trevor goes out as well.
Yeah, Trevor goes out too, and they're all
And
very
he-
fast players.
I mean, he is regarded as the best ITG player in the world, so
Yeah, he's super fast.
yeah.
Cliffy, you can't buy DDRA as a non-company. No, you cannot. Nope. You cannot do that. That goes for any current version of DDR. Let's see here. Apple Arcade. I have played Pump It Up before, and I find it somewhat easy. Though I also find it hard because since I am used to playing DDR, the positions of the arrows and the extra middle button makes it confusing. It is confusing at first, but
I feel like it's more natural actually.
if you stick to it, I promise you'll get used to it. Like Justin and Sappy and a couple of our personal friends out here, they're still learning how to do like doubles, and
Doubles is fun.
they're staying on it though, and they're starting to pick up on it. And my wife too, she's trying to learn doubles as well. It just takes practice. It'll become natural. At first, when I first got into Pump, I had no idea what I was doing. I couldn't read the inner four on doubles, and I got lost. 2 weeks later, I understood it, at least for the most part. And we're all still learning. Like, even for me, I'm still learning some of these ridiculous patterns at high level. But practice, man. I know it's really cliche, but it's true. Practice. And watch videos on YouTube. That goes for any dancing game. If you watch videos of step charts on YouTube and you slow it down on parts you don't understand and follow it with your feet or hands and study it, you will get so much better. Knowledge is half the battle. Seriously. Cliffy says, Pump It Up double play is so epic compared to other games. I agree. It's visually a lot more better.
I think Pump has the best doubles play.
Yeah. Oh, by far. Yeah. Pump It Up doubles destroys both 4-panel games that exist.
I wish I was better at it.
Just keep practicing, dude.
That's for sure.
You'll definitely get it. You're currently trying to play like that. Got any tips? Playing inward, just force yourself to do it. Always mentally be aware that you are playing that way, and keep playing tighter and tighter in as you can. Again, this falls back to the con of the game, though, for ITG, is that you need to have access to modded pads. It's very hard to play this way if you don't have it. Huge problem with the game.
I have a follow-up question to that for you, Seth. For people that are trying to play like that, I'm trying to play like that also. What kind of charts would you suggest someone that wants to adopt that play style should be focusing on?
I would suggest playing lower level stream charts that are like 130, 125, 140. Play stuff that's slower and work on your form, and then slowly work up to it. Like go from 140 to 150, 160, 165.
Just make sure play something that you're comfortable with, and then that you can really focus on your actual form.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep. Racer 5 arrow formation is definitely more natural for your feet because of that formation. What about DDRA? That's a whole different beast. It's very hard to play ITG style on DDR.
Oh yeah.
Because it has brackets.
Yeah, it's got bolts and
Yeah.
brackets. Much like the GX cabinet or GX pads for Pump It Up. It's very similar to DDR build. Eventually, Pump It Up realized that this was kind of a bad move on building the pads that way, and now they have bracketless pads, and it's fantastic. And I'm really hoping DDR takes that and considers going that route, because Step Maniacs is doing the same thing. It's brilliant.
I just think that's the way to go from here on in. I hope
Yeah.
that all games adopt that kind of method.
Yeah. So what are some other pros you guys think with Pump It Up? Let's have Jason throw one out.
Ooh.
No, on the spot. What do you got?
Well,
I have one earlier.
I really
but
like
the
World Pump
Pump It Up
Fest.
thing. Yeah, oh yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking. They have official tournaments for the game.
I think
You know,
that's
that-
huge. That's very important for a thriving community to have.
It gives, it's a great way for you guys to meet new good players. They can give you tips or whatever, or you can truly see like how good you are compared to everyone else in the world.
In the world. Yeah. That's fantastic.
Which
yeah.
is good. It's a global game, so.
Yep, that's a big perk for Pump It Up. And Demiro's really smart for doing that. The other thing that also correlates to the con of In the Groove is the fact that there's an online ranking system. Now, granted, it's not up right now, and it should be. Get on it, Andemiro, come on.
What's with that?
I don't know.
They're always slow to start it, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Cliffy says he feels greatly handicapped playing Pump It Up with GX pads. I've gone to Dave & Buster's and saw one, and I stepped foot on it and just like moved around. Didn't actually play on it, but I was like, wow, how do people play on this? This is insanity.
Fryer has talked about our God and Savior, FMs.
Oh,
One
insane
second.
to Pump It Up. Yeah, he's very, very talented. Really, really entertaining person to watch play. Freestyles, freestyle on Pump's fun to watch too. They get really nutty. Low difficulty curve for Pump It Up. Low difficulty curve for Pump It Up, meaning what exactly?
I don't know. What do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that, Nugets?
I don't know. I think for me, I think it's easy to get from like started to like 15, 16, 17s, but then
Okay,
I have to work for it.
that's true. I can agree with that. There are some charts that are misrated. I'll jump into that later on, though, actually, for like as a con. But as of a pro, what was one that you had, Justin?
For Pump It Up?
Yeah.
Just the tournament scene.
The tournament scene,
Yeah.
being alive and well.
Yeah.
Many of them too. There's IPF, UPF,
USPF.
There's a ton. There's a ton of them. I don't even
Granted,
know how many PFs there are.
All of them pretty much lead to WPF.
Yeah, and they're just all over the world. Like that's what's so awesome about it, and also community-based tournaments too, which are great. That's how actually I went to the Sacramento tournament a few months back, and that's what actually caused me to make the decision of getting my own pump machine. I met the community. I had so much fun out there.
That was a great event.
I was
there with you. It was
fantastic.
I love the pump community. I met a lot of my friends through that, including Los.
really chill.
Out of the 3 games, DDR, ITG, and Pump It Up is definitely the most supportive and welcoming community that I have personally encountered.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Like it's so great. I love it. There's actually a tournament. I think it's IPF up in Sacramento coming up in August. We're gonna be going.
Let's go.
Yep, can't wait for that.
Good luck.
Thank you. Let's see here. Iron Nougat says it's easier to get to the higher levels. Yeah, that's true. I mean, once you learn some of them, like I think for doubles it's kind of different, but for singles, I can give somebody a 24. I think it's I don't know how to pronounce the name. Correct me if I say it wrong. Is it Acluoius?
Oh, I
think that's how you say it. Nougats, am I right or wrong? I think it's Acluoius. The 24 singles for that chart, it's a great way to get someone involved in a 24 compared to other ones. There's other 24s that are just whack. But if you guys haven't tried it,
about 23s, you can give them like Creed and they'll hate you.
Oh yeah. And then the other thing too for like doubles is like you can give Rock the House D22 to somebody, and like compared to any other D22 in the game, it's so much easier. So there are some that are good to be like, here's a 22.
That still hits that I was able to get an A on it with non-bracket mashing.
Yeah, not bracket mashing. You're nuts, man. That was crazy.
It's not that bad.
Nougat says singles is an underrated playstyle in my honest opinion. Really, I guess that's true. I love doubles more than single, but I've been kind of warming up to singles more and exploring the charts. But I don't know. I enjoy doubles a lot more. Nobody knows how to say it. Me and my bro just call it cemetery.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Cliffy says, at my local arcade, people look at ITG players as sweaty racks and PIU players as faker. Savage. Wow.
Wow, that's not nice.
That's mean. Wow. Okay, so
Where is this local arcade? That's what I want to know.
I think another pro to pump it up would probably be, let's see, what's another good one? I think the music is fantastic in it. I mean, I think for all the games they're fantastic. There's not, I can't really tell you which one has the best music. In the Groove can put anything you want in it, so I guess technically that would be the best one. But as far as creative content like that came from the game, In the Groove would obviously fail at that. I don't think anyone's really a huge fan of officials. I mean, there's some that are pretty good, but comparing it to like modern DDR music and modern pump, I think it blows it out of the water. Like I don't have a single DDR or a single In the Groove official on my phone to listen to. I have a ton of Pump It Up and a ton of DDRA songs. Like they're really good. They're really well made. It's in NorCal, Cliffy says. Justin, for that arcade. Iron Nougat's PIU music is better than DDR music. Ooh, shots fired. Arcade is north of San Francisco called Scandia.
I've heard of Scandia.
Scandia?
I've never been there though.
You're the opposite, to be honest, with music, Racer. Oh, that's cool. You think DDR music's better than Pump? I mean, I know a lot of people that hate Pump music. Like, people tell me it's just a song that is a minute and a half or 2 minutes, and the first minute is unique, and then it loops it again the second half. That's what people complain about. Like, my friend actually...
Full songs, man.
Yeah, full versions. Our friend Danny, not from Vegas, not the Raven Danny that's in the chat, my other friend Danny from Moreno Valley, he despises Pump It Up music. I don't know why. I think it's great.
There's some good stuff in Pump.
There are some good stuff from Pump, indeed.
Also, it's a good way to like find new music too, since like I don't know, like I'd never heard of Dreamcatcher until Prime 2 came out.
That too. I didn't know about Rainbow Dragon Eyes until Pump It Up.
Yeah.
It was Creatures of Deception, which was off Infinity, I think.
Lufs, can you Can you confirm?
I'm pretty sure it is. The other one too is The Fool. I forget
The
the
Fool,
artist
yeah,
for that one, but it's on Infinity. That's a really good one.
Cliffy asks, do DDR and ITG let you upload files via USB? ITG does, DDR does not.
You could make custom on DDR on certain versions, but
Yeah.
only for certain songs, I think it was.
You can make custom steps.
Custom steps
Yeah.
For Pump?
for DDR.
Yeah,
Oh, for
we're
DDR,
responding to Cliffy's question.
Not on Ace, but
Oh yeah.
They
back,
took that function out for some silly reason.
Yeah, they took it out. World Music folder is great, says Anim Hunter. Yep, I agree. Creatures of Deceptions and The Fool are Infinity. I thought so, Nougats. Yeah, I think we've covered most of the pros for Pump It Up. Now let's jump into the cons. I got one for you guys.
Let's hear it.
The fact that it's not on sync. That's a big one.
Yeah, that's important.
What the hell is up with that? It's been a problem since day one.
Would you call that the worst synced of the three?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely.
There are some real off-sync songs in DDR Ace.
There are.
Yeah.
But they fix them.
That's true.
They fixed
Like,
a few of them, not nearly
Not
as
all of
many as
them,
they
but
could.
like one that I would say that stood out to me is what's that called? It's an 18. It's a challenge 18, and it's 200 BPM. Antimatter. That one was off sync.
God.
Horribly.
Oh, yeah.
Horribly off sync, and they actually responded and they fixed it. So kudos to Konami on that one. I'll give it to them for that. They got rid of it to avoid mainly issues with the licenses, I think. Vague as it is. Really? That's why they got rid of custom steps for DDR?
Cliffy was talking about Pump It Up, and yes, you can upload the UCS charts where you can do custom steps, but you can't do custom songs unless you have Step DF2.
Yes. Yep. That is true. But yeah, syncing on Pump It Up is a huge issue, and it's one of the biggest reasons I've stayed away from rank mode. As lame as that may sound, I know I'm gonna have to just face the music and play and grind it out. It's part of the game, but just because it's part of the game doesn't mean it should always stay, especially if it's a serious problem. That's a big problem for Pump It Up is the sync. I think that's probably the worst problem I have with Pump It Up, honestly. I love Pump It Up, don't get me wrong, but the sync issue is something that needs to be fixed.
That's a very common complaint. I hear that quite a bit.
Yeah. Racer says he could be completely wrong. I have horribly memory, mind you. About
the reason for DDR losing edit support.
Oh, because of the licensing issue he
Yeah.
was claiming? Nah, it's all good.
I hadn't heard of that one. but
Regardless
I
of
wouldn't
what-
be surprised if that's the case.
Yeah.
God.
Another issue I have with Pump is the fact that they don't remove cheat scores on the global rank. That's a big one. So if you guys don't know, there are people who play Pump It Up with their hands, and
Shout out to
they,
Wes.
I think from what I understand, they have the MK6 or whatever version of the PC exists for them. They have that, and they hook it up and basically make it work with buttons, and they hook up their Ethernet cable, and the game doesn't
I
know
saw
any
that.
better. The game doesn't know any better, so it just thinks, oh, they're playing it, they got the score, and
like
it gets kept into the world's best. So now us as a community have to basically memorize names of who's legit and who's not.
That's so sad.
That's
I
annoying.
mean, there's also the hacker scores where like someone would like almost double S a song at rank, and someone will get like an A on it and they'll have a higher score.
Yeah, there's people who have like a double S on some ridiculous chart, and the score on it is like literally unreachable. Like it's not if you double S'd it on rank, your points would not even be half of it. Like that's how messed up it is. And Amira needs to step up and do something about that. They have banned people who have done this. That's the first step.
But the thing is, they don't remove the scores.
They don't remove the scores. That's
So
what they need to
you
do
get the
next.
score, like, how the hell do I get that?
Yeah, Shine. Shine was a person who did that. He played with hands. I'm gonna catch up with some of the comments here really quick. Let me see here.
Go for it.
Cliffy says Konami has some serious copyright issues with rhythm games. Yeah, they do. That's a big one. Pump Con. Mission modes in recent times are really bad, except for Infinity. Mission modes are whack, Nougats. I've done most of them, but there's still a handful that are just ridiculous. It's like, how do I do this? They own or try to own every pattern from rhythm-based gaming, says Cliffy. That sounds about right. How do you get beyond double S on PIU? You don't.
Yeah, it's not possible.
You don't. There's people who hack their scores and the points they get. So an example would be like, say you double S, chase me D23, and your score on a double S for rank mode is 12,000. I'm just going to throw that out there. Someone who hacked their score has their score at 27,000, like something ridiculous. It's not. You can't do that. It's just not possible.
Like, granted, you do get more points, more points for scoring well in ranked mode, but it's still not possible to get to that score that they're doing, even if you double S it on ranked mode.
Yeah, exactly. What's a con that you have, Justin? Let's hear one.
I feel like I haven't played enough of the game to really know the pros and cons for Pump It Up.
I kind of wanted to use that as like a way of, from an outsider perspective, like from the outside looking in, what jumps out to you, if anything?
The main one was Sync. I think.
Sync.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's generally a common ground that people have.
In general, I think it's a very well-made game that has a vibrant community and really stays on top of its stuff, except I didn't know about these hacked scores issues.
Oh, yeah.
That's news to me.
I jumped in on Prime, mind you guys. Jason, when did you jump in? What version?
I jumped in basically. I was started on Infinity, but this was when Prime was almost out.
These guys in the chat just actually brought up a really good point. The scoring system.
Scoring system is combo based.
It is. It's all combo based, but it is so weird. I have seen matches where I saw a player and I'm like, clear win, and they lose. Like here's an example, Justin, because I know Justin's somewhat new to the game. There's people who get Bs and beat people who got an A.
What?
Yeah, because it looks at your your ratio of notes hit to notes missed. So if the person who gets a B is like mashing and getting a lot of like goods and bads, and a person is like trying to FA on the other side but getting lots of misses, since the other person has a higher combo, they're probably gonna win.
So will it give you less points? I'm trying to think of a scenario here. Will it give you less points if you're getting goods and bads? Because you know how goods keep your combo, but bads break it, technically?
Yeah.
Does that count as a combo break or no?
It does count as a combo
It does.
But no, not goods, because your combo is technically still there.
But bads will count as like a miss, but not as punishable as far as points go?
Right.
I wonder how close they are in comparison.
Because you get a score boost based on your ranking too. Because if you get an S, you get a certain score boost. You get a gold S, you get a certain score boost, and a S is
that's
an
true.
extra score boost. So that's why the combo matters.
A C has beaten an A in a tournament.
That's ridiculous.
Yes,
That's insane. How is that even possible?
What's the point of even having letter grades if that kind of stuff can happen?
So if you go 100 combo, miss, 500 combo versus 600 combo,
600
then
combo
miss,
will give you more points.
your score is different? Yes.
Just-
600
yeah,
will win.
The 600 will win.
It's very weird. It's focused on combo. That's what I've told people about Pump when they say, oh, the timing windows is too large. I'm like, well, the game's not focusing on timing. It's focused on keeping your combo and then that correlates with the step charts and with how ridiculous they are. They try to make it as hard to break your combo as possible. They want you to break your combo. That's the point.
That actually brings me to one of the other cons I have is like sometimes it's kind of hard to get into those harder patterns. Like if you play like bracket stream charts, like Napalm for example.
Yes.
That's a pretty technical chart, and it's kind of hard to get into because I don't really have a song that I can play before it to be like, okay, this is kind of the same thing but a little easier.
Yeah, I agree with that definitely.
Yeah, S22 of Napalm's hard.
Oh, is that the one with the drills?
Yeah.
The 30-second drills at like 180?
Yeah. Also, Los, I tried the spin and almost fell off the machine. I hate you.
Oh yeah, the 16th spin run.
Yeah, I almost fell off the machine. I hate you.
Los says another con. They fucking removed Dignity in Prime 2. Oh yeah, I've heard the community complain about that. I wasn't familiar with the song, but apparently it was a loved song. Like it's almost I would say like the equivalent would be like, I guess DDR removing
So Deep.
So Deep.
They got rid of it from Extreme. I was so mad.
Yeah, my old roommate Nelson. He actually was over just the other night and he played on our Extreme cab and he's like, I'm so mad that Konami removed So Deep.
Well, yeah, that one was a classic.
It's like one of the best songs out there, man.
I do have a con for Pump It Up. As a new player, to something that I've noticed, I really don't like that interface when it comes to sorting songs. And like, if I'm trying to get to a certain song in the song list, it doesn't feel intuitive to me.
You gotta know where it is.
Yeah, and I feel like that's such a big comparison to, let's say, DDRA, which has the title sort and like the group sort right in front of you when you begin.
like
And also
difficult
ITG,
I
which you can
guess.
access easily just by pressing left and right.
Oh, Cyborg is in the chat. Privet. Hello, Russian friend.
What's up, Cyborg?
What's up?
Hey,
Good
Cyborg.
good night or good morning, whatever time it is for you. I think it's nighttime.
Should be nighttime.
All right, go on, Jason. What were you going to say?
Good question, actually.
I lost his concentration. I think that's all the cons that we've covered for Pump. There's actually
the
quite a
sort.
few.
Yeah, I was talking about sort before Cyborg came in.
Yeah, the sword of
so
it.
so sorting, like I guess Pump now has the since Prime has the difficulty sort as well, which is good. But I don't know. It's kind of weird because like if you try to sort by title, every time you switch over to a new song, if it happens to be in a different group, then it just slows everything down. Like it gets stuck. Or it
Yeah,
doesn't get stuck, but it does that thing where if you're
it
like
stops.
holding, yeah, it's like it resets how fast the thing is scrolling.
Yeah.
So like if you happen to know the name of the song but you don't know where it is, it takes forever to find it.
Yeah, that's true. Racer, Justin's checking at it right now. So I think that's everything for Pump It Up. So we've covered the pros and cons to both In the Groove and Pump It Up, and this is the moment I've been waiting for.
Yeah, me
It's gonna
too.
turn into a roast session.
We're ready to trigger people, aren't we?
It's get your helmets on, boys. This is gonna be really rough. It's DDR. So I'm gonna try to do this as respectful as possible, because everyone or most people know I'm not big on DDR. I'm a lot of people ask me to play DDR. I can't tell you how many times. Like I just recently went to go play the Endymion chart at Marina Valley, and I tweeted a picture of DDRA, and I got so many reactions out of it. Like a lot of my fans want me to play DDR, a lot.
Like, oh, let's play DDR. Woohoo!
Yeah, like all the time. They're like, are you going to KAC when that was coming up, or are you going to the next one, or are you gonna play DDRA? And it's like, no. I tried it out.
By Konami.
I oh man. Nougat says DDR Con filled with old people. Oh my goodness.
That's savage.
Kappa.
The Kappa. Big Kappa.
Zanzibar made it just in time. Ah, nice. You're coming in on the hot topic now. Triple Kappa from Nougats. Oh boy, says Racer. Cliffy Con, owned by Konami. End of episode. Wow. It was a roast. Okay. All right. So I'm not gonna bash DDR all that much, and I don't think all of us can, because I think for most of us, we all started out with Dance Dance Revolution.
That's for sure.
I started with it when I was 8 years old. It's what got me where I am today, so I will credit DDR for that.
I had my own little notes like fold up mat pads.
Yeah, that's
I did
what I
too.
had.
Yeah, I think we all did.
Yeah, I was 8 years old. I went to this local game store. It was like a GameStop for like Marietta in my old hometown.
Mm-hmm.
It's called M&M Video Game Store, and I pointed to the game. I saw it up top, and I was like, "Mom, I want that game." She's like, she grabbed it and looked at it. She's like, "This is ridiculous. This looks stupid." Like, and I was just begging her, and then she's like, "Okay, fine." And then I got it. It was first mix,
And
the
look
very
at you
first
now.
one. And now we're here. We're 26 years old, almost 27, and we're still dancing.
Cliffy says DDR is the gateway drug, and that's a very apt way.
DDR is the gateway drug.
totally is.
We gotta pin that on my Twitter.
I still think that game, if we're going to talk about the pros of DDR, first of all, I would say that it's the most accessible, purely based on the way that it's presented.
Okay, yeah,
It's
so-
very flashy, it's very bright, it has the party look to it, and I think for that reason, like if you have all of the dancing games up in a row, I think the most attractive to look at for a first-time player is going to be DDR, just based
I
on
don't
presentation.
know. The new Prime 2 machine is really nice.
Oh, flashback, rewind, back in time. This just reminded me of something.
What's up?
This can be a pro or con based on per player, but where's that comment at? No, it was what you guys said about it being flashy.
Yeah.
In the Groove, this could be pro or con. Remember, it has no flash to it. There's no appearance at all. It's just arrows, black screen, no lights. That's it.
I personally don't like that.
Arrows and music.
You don't like that?
I don't like that.
I like it because it helps me focus on what I'm supposed to do. But I understand why people don't like it, because it takes away the feel of what you're doing.
Yeah.
I go out of my way to get my ITG set up as flashy as possible. Like I'll put LED lights in my pads. I'll keep all the stage lights on.
I do admit that with Pump It Up. The LX cabinet, they did a fantastic job, and I have no complaints about how flashy it is.
It is so nice.
It makes you feel like you're on a game show.
Also the monitor is such high resolution. It's so nice.
It's amazing. Yeah. Yeah, definitely shows you the evolution of the creation of these cabinets. When you go and look at like a old school DDR machine, and then you just look over like in our garage to the LX, it's like, wow.
It was kind of like me at AX. I was playing on Roberto's machine, which is the old monitor, right? Then I drove for 45 minutes and went to your house and played on the Alex cab. Man, it's so different.
Yeah, it's crazy. So let's go over some pros to Dance Dance Revolution first.
I love the soundtrack.
Great music.
Great music.
Awesome.
Very good music. They're doing fantastic. I mean, over the years, even from the very beginning, there's classics in there. Like, you can't bag on it. Like, Butterfly is amazing. I'm sorry. I said it. I like Cutie Chaser, too. Like, they're really catchy songs.
But I think even the newer songs, like this new DDRA song list has been totally on point for the most part.
Endymion is popping. I love it. It's
I like
so
how they're slowly starting to add like more pop songs too. Like they have the Ariana Grande songs and stuff like that. So it's also more accessible for new people too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
when the game came out in America, they put a bunch of American licenses in it, and I thought that was a great touch.
Pitbull's in there, isn't he?
Pitbull?
Pitbull?
Oh yeah, there's a Pitbull
Time
song.
of My Life, I think.
Yeah, that one.
Like that helps outsiders get more involved. I mean,
it's a pretty like low level song, but it's something to get you into the game.
And they were wise. Like the attract mode songs are always those American licenses, and I have definitely seen that attract people at Dave & Buster's to the game because they know what's playing on the DDR machine.
Pro Max 300. I agree.
I don't know how to pronounce your name, buddy, but he says he likes Endymion as well. How do you pronounce that name?
I would say Nitties.
Nitties?
Yeah.
Hello, Nitties. I don't recognize your name, so you must be new here. Welcome. Thanks for checking out the channel, man.
Welcome.
I'm trying to catch up with some comments because as soon as we went on DDR, it just flooded.
I knew that would happen.
It blew up. I will take a black screen over Afronova. Hold on. I gotta open up my chat. I want to see this. Hold on. Let's find it. I will take a black screen over Afro dancing guy background and wireframe dancers.
See, it's like the flashiness of DDR is not for everybody. I like it, but that's...
if we're talking about flashiness, I still like Pump the best actually because it actually has music videos in the back.
Yeah, that's true.
Then again, sometimes when you play like Ragnarok or something like that, where it's blue and red, and then you have blue and red arrows, it's a little hard to read.
It's very hard. The other song was Sugar Conspiracy Theory. My God, dude, so hard to read the arrows. Iron Nougats and Atom Hunter Pro Max 300. Very true. Pro, no arcade is complete without DDR. Okay, that's fair enough. Come to Life, 20 November, Make a Jam, Boom Boom Dollar, Endymion. I like Egoism. Antimatter is really good. There's so many. I would be here for hours talking about songs I like in DDR series. I think all of us would.
There's so many classics.
I'm a sucker for the Toho and the J Music songs, but
yeah, no, I agree too. They're really good.
And the 20th anniversary of the franchise is coming up next year, if I'm not mistaken.
Ooh.
And there's been just so many classics over the span of that franchise. Like you look in the chat now, and there's people mentioning their favorites from the early days. There's also people mentioning more modern hits, and I think it really speaks to just for the most part how good the song list of these DDR games has been throughout its life cycle.
Oh, his name is Nitties.
Yeah,
you got it right.
I was right. Yeah.
Hey, I'm not good at pronouncing names. I'm so sorry. Trill says, DDR Pro, A is the most worldwide edition of any rhythm game in existence.
That is more than Pump?
Is it true?
Is it true?
It's more worldwide now than it's ever been, but isn't it now where Pump is?
Pump is more worldwide. I'm not sure on that.
Because there's Pump machines in Europe, right?
There's Pump machines all over the world.
Yeah, like I know there's no DDRA release in Europe. I don't think there's one in Mexico.
Does Mexico have one?
No.
So I think Pump is more worldwide.
And we know the Mexicans are crazy with Pump, so
yeah. But it's definitely had progress.
Yeah,
I would agree that's had progress. What else we got here? It was fine after they added lane dimming. What's that? Is that when they put the fade on the arrows?
It's basically where the like background off for ITG, but it's only where the
arrows are.
Oh yeah, screen filter.
So the rest of the background is still playing.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And
that's
Atom
pretty good.
Hunter.
I would actually like it if we had that in ITG. To be honest.
Agreed.
The screen filter?
No, yeah, just where it's lane dim.
Oh no, you can do that. You can do that. Stepmania 5.
Yeah, and I use that regularly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the arcade machine I play doesn't have it. So.
Yeah, that's the problem with ITG. It's not all the same. It's not globally the same.
It goes back to the standardization issue that we touched on.
Yeah. We got a comment from, let's see here, Atom Hunter. Neutrino is really good. I've never heard that song, actually.
That's one of the newer unlocks. It's a 16 expert, 18 challenge.
SN2 turned the series on its head with the new scoring system. Is that when they changed like the difficulty meters and all that stuff and like the AAAs?
The AAAs, yes. That's Supernova 2 was the first game where you could get a AAA with greats.
SN2 almost killed DDR. It was a tough time. That's, coincidentally, I don't know if this was, I honestly don't remember, but so with my history with DDR, I was playing all the way up until 8th mix. I was obsessed. Then I stopped when Supernova came out for a little bit, but then I started playing it again. But then when Supernova 2 came out, I just stopped caring. I don't know why. I don't remember. But from Supernova 2, what came out, Justin? X?
X was after Supernova 2.
Then X2?
Then X2.
And then what?
Then X3, which did not get an American release in any way. Yeah, X3
then,
was not.
If I'm not mistaken, 2013 is after.
Yeah.
And then 2014?
Yeah.
So I stopped playing from SN2 all the way up until Ace. I had no play of DDR.
Okay.
That's when, I think that's around the time ITG was, like, popular.
Yeah, ITG came out around, ITG 2 was 2005, Supernova was 2006.
So, Supernova was the end of my DDR career, quote unquote.
Right.
And then ITG 2 was when I got into it. I'm trying to catch up with the comments here. Good lord. We are getting so much feedback.
brought up a good point, the announcer. Like, if that was on ITG, it'd be so bad.
Oh, that'd be awful. If there was, like, crowd cheering and
like every 100 combo, my god.
Oh no, I would, dude, especially with how fast you get a combo.
One of the cons of DDR that I hear a good amount is that crowd noise is way too loud, and there will be some songs like I was hearing yesterday that Sakura, during both of those slowdowns in Sakura, the crowd will make noise during both of those slowdowns every time.
Yep. Every time. Every time.
It's bad.
Very, very bad. They definitely need to fix that.
There's a way to turn it off, actually.
Yeah, they need to address that. If not, turn it off, turn it down. Don't make it where it washes out the music. That's the whole point of the game.
I mean, it's a rhythm game. You kind of need to hear the music.
Exactly. Catching up. Pump here in Italy is less known, to be honest, as Gabe. We have a shady modded version of NX Pro, actually, which is basically OpenITG modded. It's shit. Cliffy, that announcer, I couldn't imagine playing ITG with 100 combo, 3 seconds later, 200, you're a pro. Or you just get, like, pad misses, and you get back to 100, 100, 100, 100.
You miss one, it's like, aw, like, god damn it.
Yeah, I gotta hear this.
I might be in the minority on this one, but I think that the announcer of DDR actually gives a lot of personality to the game. And that kind of goes just with the presentation aspect that I was talking about before. I've always just kind of liked that.
I mean, it is cool. Like, it's cool. Like, you do get that, like, I guess, support, or like someone like cheering you on while you play. So it's really, it makes you want to keep going. But like you said, if you put in an ITG with like, you build combos super fast.
Yeah.
If it's going every 100 combos, it's gonna get super annoying.
An announcer just wouldn't fit in with the overall theme of ITG. That's for sure.
Mm-mm.
And the same thing could go for Pump. I don't think it would fit very well in Pump, honestly.
Not at all. I hope they keep it that way too, where it's just
It doesn't
quiet.
seem like they're gonna try.
Yeah. So this is another thing I really didn't like. Now I didn't have experience playing on it as much as Extreme and all that. Like I said, I stopped around SN. What version was it when they changed the cabinet look?
Oh, they've changed it multiple times over the series.
So, well, I mean, at least after Supernova 2. Was it X where they came out with those ones that had the weird looking colored panels and it had a bunch of bolts all over it?
That was X, yeah.
That was X.
I hated those. I've stepped on them and I tried playing on it and I just hated that design. I don't know how you guys feel about those designs.
The American design for the X series was different from the Japanese one. The Japanese one was really nice, and then Betson released the X games in America, and there were a lot of budget cuts on that cabinet design, and they were not very well received whatsoever.
Feels bad.
Yeah, I have a huge complaint with those. I've never seen a Japanese one. Do we have any out here in round ones or no?
No, not
they have
here.
It imported?
No, there was one tested at Irvine Boomers a long time ago, but the one that we actually ended up getting was vastly different. I know that there's a Japanese X machine somewhere in Chicago. I believe that's the only one in America, but I could be wrong about that.
Oh, people are bringing up the different announcers from the series. Which one is your guys' favorite announcer?
I actually like the current one. It's odd. I liked all of them, to be honest, but my favorite is probably the current one.
I hated X. Is that the one where he's like, what is this, a golf tournament?
Well, that's the current one.
It is?
Yeah, they're still on that one.
I hate that.
He's been the longest lasting one in the series.
I hate it. I'm sorry. I mean, some of his lines are fine, but they're just too corny for me. Some of them are just like, what the hell did you just say?
I find him kind of charming.
I liked Extreme. I liked him a lot.
That one was solid, too.
I liked Extreme.
Really,
Extreme's
really
probably my
good.
second favorite.
I liked fourth mix, which I think that was like
That was the first one.
that was from first mix till
Through fifth, and then max.
was fifth when it stopped, or
Yeah, fifth was when it stopped, and then a new one came up for max.
like a new one was for fifth, or a new one was for sixth.
For sixth.
Okay.
Max.
So 1 through 5. I liked him. He was good.
There was also a female announcer for the solo games.
What?
Little known fact.
I didn't know
like
that.
Solo 2000 has a woman, and she's kind of mean sometimes. Like she'll yell at you if you're doing badly.
Oh, that's great. I did not know that. That's cool. Trying to catch up with the comments, then we're going to also cover some other pros to the game. Let's see here. No more announcer stuff. X had 2 versions. The Japanese version was basically SN2. U.S. version distributed by Betson was dog shit. Oh, God. Wow. What a
We got
roast.
some
Zanzibar.
savagery going on in this chat, dude.
He's just honest. I think Zanzibar's actually a DDR player. That's fair. DDRX Japanese has really weird LED pillars that function as your life meter. Oh, yeah.
That sounds interesting.
I've seen those on videos, actually.
I'd have to see it. That
Yeah,
sounds...
so that was part of the budget cut when that game came out to America, because those LED pillars, which I really like, were totally removed from the game.
Yeah, I've seen those on the FFM's videos and some of the other Japanese and Korean player videos.
When I went to Japan, I went to an arcade that had 2 of the DDR-A white cabs and 2 of those those black X cabs with the LED pillars, and I chose to play on the black ones every time because I just really liked that aesthetic.
That's so cool.
I don't know.
did
I
not
was
know
recently in Vietnam, and all I could find was Prime 2 machines. No
Uh,
ITG, no DDR, only Prime 2.
Kenny says Extreme and Fourth Mix was hype. Solo 2K was hype. Ultra Mix on Xbox also had like a robot voice for announcer. I remember that game. I used to play that game all the time at home. It was so good.
I was a
think I
PS2
still
kid,
have it
so I
somewhere.
can't really comment.
I did both. I played a lot of home versions too throughout the years.
Yeah, I played a lot of home versions just because
There were-
it was fun.
There was charts too where you had to like unlock it by playing it on reverse. I would just put my head upside down and play.
Yeah, everyone had their own strategies for some of those weird missions, because the PS2 games had them too, where you just had to play like on split or something.
Upside down.
Yeah, the newer console pad DDR games also gouge on ratings. They call 6s as 11s. What? I did not know that, Cliffy. Interesting. So what's another pro for you guys? Throw it out there for DDR.
The rival system. The rival system is great in modern
Dude, I-
DDR.
Pump introduced that recently. I think they're still working on it, but yeah, the rival system's really good.
I don't know. People can't add me as a rival, and I know
It's still it's still buggy,
Yeah.
but DDR's got it good right now with that. That's very true.
and-
I like that you
And
can
once again,
you
we
can
have-
use the rival system to set your pacemaker score. Like if there's a certain target score that you're going for, you can set it there, and you have the blue number telling you how
how ahead you are,
how ahead or
how
behind you are.
That's good.
Yeah, that was something introduced with 2DX, and I think every rhythm game should have that.
Was that introduced in Ace?
Oh
or is
no,
it
DDR has had that for a while.
That's good.
I don't know exactly when.
I think what was that in 2013 that they?
I've seen it as old as X2, but I think X might have had it also.
Oh damn! All right.
Yeah, that's definitely a huge plus to DDR is being able to keep track of like if you're competing for the world's best or just a personal rival you have or whatever it is.
You can do that with ITG, but it's only on local. Like you only on like either for a quad or you can do like the highest score on the machine. That's it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't really do like, my friend across the country has the score. Can I?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like no, you can't.
Agreed. That's definitely a problem. Expert charts have been slowly improving, and they are aiming to plump higher difficulties slowly in DDR-A, says Racer. It's very true. I've noticed that since Supernova, I would say. Supernova's when they started picking it up a lot, like with Fascination Max.
Yeah, they had to answer ITG somehow.
Yep. I think that's what sparked it, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely.
I think in terms of difficulty of like charts, I think ITG has a little bit of a lead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think they do.
Just a little.
I think it's because the community nowadays, they're very familiar, at least experienced step artists are familiar with how to step charts, and they can cater to the community. Like there's Bimani Beats, which is all pure tech, very, very technical stuff that I've never seen in any other game, to be honest, outside of Pump It Up maybe because of brackets. But there's endless possibilities, and the problem with DDR is that the community doesn't have a say in it. Konami makes it and just says, deal with it. Here it is. Which some people can say, well, that's good. Some people can say that's bad. It's kind of a debatable thing. Anim Hunter is saying a pro, which might be controversial, is that DDR has some of the best and most fun charts ever. Also has the worst too.
I agree with both of those statements.
They
They have some of the best, they have some of the worst.
They do have some of the best, and they do have some of the worst. This is actually a thing that I wish Nelson was in here for because he's a big, big DDR fan. And he honestly nowadays does not like ITG, and I think he would fully agree with Anim Hunter on this. Is he says, show me a modern ITG chart that stands out where it's so memorable in regards to how it's stepped. To like, oh yeah, this song with this part. And I think he's not saying that for Bimani beats, because I would say that's my answer to him is Bimani beat charts. He's talking about stamina, and I agree. You can't really be like, oh, look at this crank pastry chart, and it's so unique. Because it's just.
I mean, I can think of one, but it's kind of a joke, as in the ITG community. I think it's Superluminal.
Yeah. The 24th burst.
Yeah,
but again, like that's
the pattern. Just the patterns we call them Superluminals for a reason,
Yeah, but the thing with that too is that it's an old chart. But I do agree with you. Like I always say this. Back then, 16s back then were way harder than modern 16s.
I mean, if you want like hard charts that are kind of like old style, anything in crossover spectrum will absolutely wreck your shit.
Yeah, very true. But yeah, that's a big thing that my old roommate Nelson brought up was show me, like tell me what's so unique about these modern stamina charts, and I agree.
There's a new technical 22 that I've seen recently for Elvis, the K-pop song, and that one's something.
Someone made an ICG chart.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's a what they call a technical 22, and it's I don't really know how to explain it. It's hard.
I mean, if they have stuff like that and they keep doing it, great. But the problem, like with ITG, is which I think my roommate was trying to say, is that it's rare. It's not common.
Oh yeah, it's definitely rare.
Yeah. But to each their own. That's just one of those topics where it's personal preference.
I'll link you to that chart later.
Yeah. Please let me see it. I want to see that. Let's scroll down here in the comments. I'm trying to catch up here. Racer, granted challenge charts are hit or miss. Yes, they are. Okay. So Valkyrie Dimension, I think is trash, personally.
Yeah, no one likes that.
I think it's an awful chart for challenge. Now, Endymion Expert, really well made. I like it. I think it fits it well. The gimmicks and everything. Some people will say it sucks, but again, that's just a personal preference. But I think it's a fairly made chart. You got to think of it in the sense of DDR, like in Konami's mind of how the game is. You got to think of how the game's made. You can't think of it from ITG perspective, because then all DDR charts are shit. You got to be open-minded about it and think of it from a DDR player's perspective. Moving down here on the list, let's see here. DDR Con, it can be a grind fest for scoring on the new event boss songs. Yes.
Yeah, that's been a big point of, like argument.
Yeah.
On the online groups lately.
Yeah, the DRTG group chat. Big argument going on.
I don't want to grind for this much time just to play one song, blah blah blah.
I think it's telling that the only person in America that really went after this Ace Races event was Jeff.
Yeah, that should speak louder than anything else, honestly.
And then there's FFMs over in Korea, man.
Right. And there's a whole argument about that too.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that people are saying it's unfair that he has access to rent a machine, but this falls under the con that I feel is with the game is not fully accessible. Konami is restricting it to certain regions and areas, and it's just unfair.
I really wish for dancing games to really get out of arcades and get more into people's homes, and Konami is not about that.
They're not about it at all, and that's a huge con that I have.
That's the biggest con for me. I don't like going out into public to play anymore. It was cool when I was a teenager. Now I'm an adult. I like being able to play at my leisure in my home.
Yep.
And with DDR, you simply cannot do that.
This is what's unfair, in my opinion. I'm trying to keep my cool and not be so triggered.
Go for it, dude.
But I'm sorry. Konami is they're not smart by making it not accessible to everybody. And
like I said, it's just that they know they can't make money if it's in someone's house and not in an arcade. So they're like, no, we don't want it.
Exactly.
Why couldn't they though? What's so wrong about selling upgrade kits to people that own private machines already? That's always been my point of view.
They'll make more money, and people will pay per credit, I guess.
Because I guess with the way that he's trying to say it, Justin, is that it's a say $2,000 purchase versus over time more money. They want you to keep coming.
Actually, and then again, technically, if you do that, there's the like the upgrade kits for Pump. So it's you'd be able to buy a new game every once in a while, and that would cost what, 1,000, 2,000?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they can still make money, but I think they're being too greedy. That's
Yeah.
Konami's had that history of being too greedy as a company.
Oh, and for any of you guys interested in that chart that I was talking about, the link is deleted. Okay, never mind.
Post it, whisper it to me, and I think I can do it. Whisper, or just send it on Discord, whatever works for you. I'll try to post it myself.
Here it is. I got it on your whisper.
There we go. Got it. I'm gonna try to post this for the chat.
Yeah, the link gets deleted in chat, but I see it in the actual thing.
There we go. I think I can do it because I'm the owner of it. I think we're good.
Like, this is the quote-unquote 2022, technically.
Yeah, so the link I sent you guys is a link to a 22 tech in the Groove, which is, I've never heard of that before. So pretty cool. You guys should check it out. Okay, reading down some of these comments. We are getting a lot of chat today.
Yeah,
even with very few people watching, like, there's just a lot of chat. So you guys are awesome.
I'm loving the interaction that you guys are giving us today. Thank you so much for tuning in and for talking with us.
Yeah, this is what we want, guys.
Awesome.
We want interaction because it's very hard if we're not having people interact and like just constantly talking, just two people only. Huge shout out to Jason for joining the Discord today. Thank you, man. It's great having you here, and everybody else in the chat. You guys are awesome.
Hey, happy to help, man.
Let's see here. It's funny how the most money grinding events have also united the community. That could be true, I guess, in some ways. But then again, there's been a lot of arguments about it, which is divided.
I don't know if I would say that they've really united the community. I see a lot of people just upset about the money sink of this event that's going on right now, and some people just not participating in it whatsoever, and rather complaining about it on the internet.
Here's my take on. Yeah, I agree. Here's my take on the whole thing. They need if they want to make it a grind fest, that's fine, but they shouldn't make it where you've grinded so hard and you finally get to it and then you still have to grind after you've beaten it. They need to make it unlockable after you've beaten it. They need to make it where it's like, okay, grind it. When you reach it, you can unlock it early because it's supposed to be a preview, I'm guessing, for the next series, right? Is that typically how it's been with like Valkyrie Dimension or Egoism?
No, not really.
They haven't done that?
I think Endymion is the boss song of DDRA.
So it's the final thing. So that then
more than likely,
have they released the final boss song of a series at the end before the new one comes out, or do they just bring it over? You know what I'm saying? Because you know how Endymion is it's not embedded in the game yet.
Yeah.
Versus like Egoism, how you can first song just go play it.
Right. With the next DDR game, you'll be able to play Endymion.
That's my problem.
Yeah.
They need to make it playable when you've beaten it. If you can just life 4 pass it, it should be unlocked permanently because you're at the end of the game. I don't know when the next game's gonna come out, but they're obviously hinting that the game's done. So why not make it accessible permanently after the grind has been done? There's not a problem for me for grinding a game. Everyone grinds games.
Yeah.
Like
You're
Overwatch.
the king of grinding games.
Yeah, Overwatch, In the Groove, dancing games, non-dancing games, like Kingdom Hearts. There's grinds for everything.
Maple Story, anyway.
Yeah.
No,
This grinding's fine.
Right.
But it's Konami's greedy side where they're saying, okay, you life 4 past it, and you passed Ace for Aces. Good job. Now you got to play 7 sets again to just play these songs once. Like, that's not fair. I think that's kind of a douchey move on Konami's end.
I'm with you on that. I don't like that system.
Look at how they've maintained Yu-Gi-Oh! Cliffy says. Oh, I know a lot about that.
About that.
Oh yeah, it's awful. Let's just put it. Since let's not sway away from dancing games, but I'm big on Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm gonna give you a nutshell of it. They release a new set. There's really expensive cards, the chase cards as they call it. People, the cards that want the cards, they're after those certain cards, and they always make them high rarity, and they always short print them and make them hard to get, and it jacks up the price. And then they'll either reprint it later and makes the card that you spent so much money on drop in price, or they'll ban it and make it go down, and it's just an endless cycle of it. That's why I stopped playing competitively. Now I just play for fun. So that's how Konami is. Adam Hunter says fuck Konami, or cuck Funami. Wow, that's good. Wow. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that Jeff cleared Ace for Aces. My roommate showed me a video. Yeah, I don't know. That whole grind thing, that's my only beef with it. Make it unlockable and permanent in the game for your profile if you life 4 past it. That's how I feel. It's like almost like it's like the Mario 64 when you're on the final Bowser star room and you know how you're just endlessly running up the stairs? It's like that. It's like that. Cuz you get to it, you're at the final thing, but you can beat it. and you're still going to be running up those stairs trying to get to that song every once per 7 rounds. That's like the perfect analogy that I could think of. That's how it is. That's basically a pad dump file. DDR.
It is an index file, so.
Yeah. DDR Grindfest, I feel, are definitely unreasonable. They release typically in a few months. Many other Bimani rhythm games don't flat out do that huge of a grind. It's kind of weird why they do that. Well, I mean, it is weird, but we all know why. It's because they want to make as much money as they can. And let's see what else we got here. Zanzibar. Sorry, bro, but play Sound Voltex, 2DX, Gitadora. The Konami grind is fucking real in every game. I wouldn't know, honestly.
Well, Kenny does play a lot of Sound Voltex.
I know it's weird in those games, but I know we don't have it here, but the My thing is kind of the same thing. Over when I played in Malaysia, you have the same like login kind of thing. I have a Bana passport for it anyway, but you have to log in with your profile, and then you have to play to get credits to unlock songs at the end of the round. And there's some like the one on what was it, Orange Plus. The big one was everyone wanted to get Caliburn, and that cost like you had to like master almost everything in the game and cost like 1,000 credits or something like that. So
Ooh.
it was a grind to get it, and then it was like super hard too. So trying to actually unlock the master, which means you had to S rank the expert chart before it, was hard.
That's
to say the least. Yeah, it was hard. But they do a good thing, whereas once you unlock it, you got it. You can play it anytime.
That's cool. That's how it should be. When you unlock it, you're done. That's what a grind is supposed to be, not this endless grind of, I don't understand it.
Let me play 8 sets.
They're like, I'm trying, like, really, like, someone tell me otherwise, or give me a valid argument against this kind of statement. But like, what other reason is there for Konami to make it where it's every 7 rounds once you've gotten to it, to play the song once and you've beaten it, other than making more money off of you?
That's the only reason.
That's the only reason.
It's like a grind that doesn't end.
Yeah, there's no reason for it outside of making money. I mean, for Konami's sense, they're smart. On their end of it, it's smart of them to do that. And people will play it because they know people will play it. That's the way it is. Catching up on comments really quick. Racer. But still, it's weird to me DDR doesn't get as much updates as any other games. And the amount of content is so minimal to other games. Cliffy says, I remember playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For GBA, and I felt like I was leveling a Magikarp to 100 just to get a damn Karibo. Konami, man. Animal Hunter says, talking about Grindfest, unlocking songs in DDR console versions. Yes, I remember.
But at least you actually own those games, and you don't.
You don't have to pay.
Yeah,
that's fair. Racer, I've unlocked all songs in Sound Voltex and have most charts blasted. Nice. So we kind of I started focusing on the roasting of DDR. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, guys. If there's any DDR fans out there, I mean you no harm. I'm very passionate about not liking DDR. And if you disagree with me, that is fine. We're here to discuss things as civilly as possible.
I'm the same way.
Is there any other pros to DDR that you guys would say? From what we covered.
What were we talking about? We talked about the song list being
Well,
really
we went
good.
so far off on cons.
Yeah. That's why I was like, what was the last thing that we said that was actually a pro?
We were talking about the song list being great. We were talking about the rival system,
Mm-hmm.
the score setting, score tracking.
Yes.
With that.
Yeah,
we are all roasty.
That's some really, really good stuff, though, that they have.
What else? What else is there for DDI? I know there's stuff in there. Now, I mean, their step charts are unique. I can give them that. That can be good and bad. But there are a lot of good ones. And you have to disregard ITG people, honestly. Most of them, because most of the people who do like the harder stamina stuff are not fans of stuff that's not stamina. And that's fine. But if they ever try to bring that up as a con, I mean, that's just a personal preference kind of thing where it's just like, okay, to each their own.
Yeah.
I mean, some people like technique, some people like stamina. You just gotta.
And that's fine.
Be where you are.
That's the beauty of the game is there's so many different ways to play it, and that's why I like about it. I just wish other people could like accept that and come together and just be like, hey, that's fine. You play this, I play this. Like, that's cool. Mm-hmm. And not be so disrespectful, you know?
Yeah, people are going to, though. You know that.
Yeah. Zanzibar, I don't see the comment. Can you paste it again for us so we can see what your biggest pro is in your opinion for DDR? I guess another pro would just be that the fact that it's flashy. Some people like that, like you said, Justin.
Yep, that's me.
My only beef with it is just how loud the announcer can be or the crowd. But otherwise, I don't mind the flashiness. Like it has its place in rhythm games.
I mean, it's good. It's definitely more inviting, so people are more willing to try it.
I think that's why DDR is so popular for like normies. I would say like outsiders. That's the other thing too. It's the biggest game out of all of them. It's the most well-known game. How many times have you guys gone to or not gone, just played a game or talked about a game online, and someone on the outside says, "Oh, it's DDR." Like you're playing Pump It Up or ITG. I'm like, "Oh, it's DDR."
All the time.
All the time, right?
There's that video of was it the Ramsey guy who was playing Pump, and like, damn, this guy's good at DDR. I'm like,
Yeah, it's not the right game.
About that.
Yeah, that's the biggest pet peeve I have in rhythm games.
Yes, he's stepping on arrows, but no, it's not DDR.
Zanzibar reposted his comment. He said that a big DDR-A pro is the revival aspect, saying that there is no denying that A coming to North America hasn't brought in new players to play and discover other 4 and 5 panel games. If it weren't for the Puente Hills Mall 2014 location tests, I wouldn't have gotten back into 4 panel.
Well, that's we did mention that earlier. That's like DDR is what got us into rhythm games, so that's true. Like especially because bringing this new game over is really good.
It's the gateway drug, like we said earlier.
Yeah, it's good on Konami's end to bring it to North America. I agree. Now, there is problems where FFM's had access to renting a machine, and they just Asia has more access than we do.
I guess that's just kind of more of a like as a high level player, I'm trying to unlock all the songs kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a very minimal problem.
Yeah, but if it's like a new player, like, oh, this game looks cool, let me try it, then it's more accessible.
Exactly. I think that's most of the pros. I've been reading the comments. I think we've caught up with the pros. If you guys have any other pros, throw them out there. But I think we've covered the general pros for Dance Dance Revolution. We've talked about some of the cons that kind of swayed off, but I'm going to go over them again briefly if I had already discussed it, and we'll cover other cons as well. I'll let Justin start. What is your biggest con with Dance Dance Revolution?
You have to go to Dave & Buster's or Round 1 to play it. I don't like being there. I would really like to be able to privately own a DDR-A machine. I'd be more than willing to spend the money on that. And it's tiresome to have to leave the house just to play a game that I enjoy when there's really no other game that I enjoy that makes me do that.
Yeah, very true. That's the big problem that's my biggest beef with Dance Dance Revolution as well. I can't buy the software or cabinet and have it at home and play and compete with people online.
And another an accessory issue to that is that you can't tune it the way that you like it. Like if you like your pads to be a certain way, you're pretty much at the mercy of whatever arcade that you're playing at when you're playing on those pads. You also have to wait in line to play. Like if you have a goal in mind and there's a bunch of people there at the arcade that day, you're at the mercy of them and the coin line to be able to wait for your turn. And it's very easy to get cold in between sets if you're playing.
I mean, especially if it's busy, like the old Gemini. I remember. Well, this isn't DDR, but like for the ITG line, it'd be like 2 hours.
Oh my god.
So yeah, it gets pretty crazy. I know if you guys know Alita and Sean.
Of course.
Yep.
Yeah, Sean would play Pump while he waits to play ITG because the line was so long.
Yep, that's what I would do.
He got so good at Pump.
Yep. Another thing. This is a very unfair thing, too. This is where I feel like Konami just doesn't like us. It's because in Japan and just in Asia, they have access to upgrades that have Ace on it. They have DDR old machines that have Ace.
That's right.
We can't do that here. And if you get caught doing that, you're in trouble. It's not allowed at all. And
the only way to do that here is unofficially with like arcade data drops.
Arcade data drops. Yep. And if you can't record it. Like it's ridiculous. It's like it's so unfair, and I don't understand. I understand Konami's reason, but I don't understand at the same time. Like it's kind of weird.
Like why they would want to do that?
Yeah, because it's them being greedy, but they're still gonna make money off of offering software available to be purchased for private owners.
I almost feel like it's the opposite of being greedy because they're just refusing sales in that. Like for people that want to actually own these upgrade kits, they will not sell it to them.
Yep.
But they're just turning down.
They're turning it
easy
down.
Easy money.
It's. I don't understand it. It's very frustrating because every time.
If they were to do that and then allow you to buy a cab, then it'd be a little different. But they don't let you to buy cabs either, because then we can argue it's like, oh, they'd rather you just buy the whole cab and pay more money. But they're not selling cabs either.
Then
so
sell me the cab. Sell it to me.
They just don't want you to have the game.
Yeah. It would be so much. I'm telling, like, if there's anybody in here who is in here right now watching, or if you're watching this on YouTube once it's uploaded, and you're wondering why does Happy Feet not play DDR, I don't have it. I can't have it at home. It's very unfair and very frustrating, and we can't mod the pads at all where we go, and I personally can't play in socks where I go anywhere because they throw me off and say you can't do that. It's just too. This is the bad side of when a corporation owns the game, or
It's too regulated.
it's too restricted, in my opinion. A big one, at least.
I mean, if you can even ask Los, like, it's really hard for him to even mod the pump pads, and he works at GameWorks.
Yeah, that's what
like,
I mean.
A lot of time they won't let you, so it's like, oh,
Yeah,
come on.
you're at the mercy of Dave & Buster's in round one nowadays, and they're the only corporations that have it. It's frustrating, very frustrating. And if the day ever comes where Konami says you can purchase a software or a cabinet, I would be on it so fast. I'm not kidding. I would put that on my DDR machine in my garage so fast, and I would start playing DDR like no other.
We all would.
Man, you're running out of space in your garage, dude.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. I'm just like tripping over my own words. I just wish Konami would do it, but I don't think they're going to ever, because they're too stubborn to do it. Like the only thing outside of being greedy and stubborn that I can think of for them doing that is they want to avoid cheating or people messing around with the hardware or software. I don't know. Andamiro allows it. And
I mean, it'd be pretty easy to see who's cheating because, max is 1 million points. If someone gets like 150 million or 1,500,000, we're like, hey,
yeah,
that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like that's one thing I kind of like, actually. It's a standardized scoring system, so like if they got 1 million, they got an MFC.
Yep, exactly.
If they got 999,870, they got 13 perfects.
Yeah. Yeah. What makes you think Konami doesn't have our best interest in mind, Kappa? That says Cliffy. Any other cons to DDR?
Sync is also an issue, not to the extent of Pump It Up, apparently.
I think they're more on it because of the fact that the game is so focused on timing and only timing.
Yeah.
So that's good. But yeah, there is some sync issues that they need to fix. Jason, any cons?
We pretty much went over everything that
I think we've gone over all the cons to Dance Dance Revolution. I'm trying to think before I conclude this episode. I'm
not surprised that we spent the most amount of time on DDR.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's the most popular game, so I mean
Yeah.
it's gonna have a lot of opinions and from everybody. Like the chat blew up as soon as we jumped on DDR. Dave & Buster's catering to music gamers was nothing but a boost to interest in the American market, says Zanzibar.
It definitely brought new players in.
It
Over
did.
The past year, I've seen a lot of new faces.
And old school players too got back into it,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's good. I just think they really need to make it privately owned and accessible. I really think they do for both old cabinets and new ones, and sell the new cabinets to people, and also their online thing. Like that's the beauty of Pump It Up. You can buy any machine, get the up-to-date game, put it in, hook up an Ethernet cable, you're online. You're good to go.
Yep.
Konami, you gotta
get the actual online thing working. That'd be great.
Yep, you have to be a registered corporation, from what I understand, to be able to have the EMU's access.
And you have to do a bulk buy in groups of 50. You have to buy 50 machines.
50 machines for DDR Ace, and they're $20K each.
Ouch.
Yep.
Yeah,
I don't know about you. I don't have that kind of money.
that's it's pretty silly. But yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up this episode, guys. So
This was great.
yeah, I think this is our most successful one.
Easily.
It worked out really well. I would say this is probably our best one.
I feel that way.
Lots of interaction. Really good.
Thank you all in the chat for chatting with us today. You definitely helped make this go.
Void says, how is it like a place like Chinatown Fair, New York, can have a DDR-A cabinet online? I wouldn't know, honestly. I've never been there.
Nor I.
Zanzibar, if anyone is to be blamed, it's Japanese legislation and regulation for games. Oh, yeah, that has a huge thing to do with it. But again, it's just they're going to keep it that way. And some people like that, and some people don't. That's just the way it is. You have to effectively pay $1 million to buy a console of DDR. Yeah, Yep, that's correct. And even then, you won't have EMUs.
Unless you're a corporation.
Unless you're a corporation. So, yeah. That's it for today's episode, though, guys. Thank you all for being here and discussing things with us. And again, Jason, thank you for hopping onto the Discord. You're our first subscriber taking advantage of the private Discord channel.
It was great having you on, buddy.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was fun.
At the end of every single stream, we always raid somebody. So right now we're going to go find someone that's online, and we're going to go send them our love, let them know that their Penguin Squad is attacking, and give them a follow, sub to them, donate, whatever you feel like doing. Just give them some love and support, or even just chat with them. So let's go see who we're going to raid today. Last night we did Redvox Gaming, I believe, so we're going to skip that. Let's go give the 8-Bit Drummer some love, guys. He's live right now. He's an awesome individual. He's super positive. He's always looking so happy. Like, I've never seen someone so happy and so motivated.
That. He's always got a big smile on his face.
He's one of those people where you just can't picture them being sad. It's just one of those. And he's just awesome. And he's rated our channel many times, brought in 600 plus viewers. Like, he's just super awesome. Yeah, he's got over 100,000 followers, dude. He's insane. And if you guys don't know who he is, if you're new to the channel, he's if his name doesn't give it away, he's a drummer, and he plays on electronic drum set, and he does song requests. You donate $8 or more, and he will play any song you want. You just link it to one of his mods. So let's go ahead and give him some love, guys. Let me get some stuff here fixed. Give me 1 second. Cool. Okay, we're good to go. All right, guys. Thank you all so much. I will see you guys tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Tomorrow's Sunday, right?
Tomorrow's Sunday.
Yep. Tomorrow's Sunday. All right, yep. We stream tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm not quite sure what we'll be streaming yet, but if you follow me on Twitter or you join the Discord, you will be staying up to date with me whenever I'm not streaming on Twitch. That's all down below in the panels. Thank you guys so much. Jason, Justin, thank you for being here.
All right, no problem, man.
I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Later.